Isaiah is speaking about Jesus. And he says, now listen, there was this time, but it didn't work. But think about those things, but dwell not upon those things. Behold, I'm going to do a new thing. And that new thing is going to be Jesus. And here is the point that Isaiah prophesies in chapter 43, and Peter now applies in chapter 2 of his epistle of hope, where he sews it all together. Prepare, we're about to have an aha moment. He says, you're a royal priesthood. You're a holy nation. You're a peculiar people. And you know what? Who is the cornerstone? Jesus. Why? Because God did a new thing. Here is the point that I need you to get. With Christ as the new thing, and God is beginning a new work, the church is to the world. Now hear what I'm about to say. The church is to the world what Israel was always meant to be. And on her better day, tried to be. That is the reason that Paul uses this iconic language. But yet furthermore, this is the reason, now track with me because we're about to be preaching. We've only got about 5 to 7 minutes left, so we're going to really lean into this moment. Here is the reason that Peter in this epistle says, be holy. Work on good conduct. All of chapter 1, verses 13 and onwards. Chapter 2, verse 12. Live with honorable conduct. Why? Here's the point. We don't just represent God. Now hear this. This is worth the price of admission today. We don't just represent God. We are God's people. To demonstrate love and justice and his equity in the world. Now hear what I'm about to say, but let me quickly sidebar comment here. This is not to say for a minute that God is done with Israel and God's plan A did not work, so he went with a plan B. This is not the replacement of God's people. This is a new, mysterious fulfillment of what he always said he would do. That he is all about his promises. He is all about his mission. But what does it mean to us then? What it means to us is this, that the church today, you're gathered here right now. You're online with us right now. You're at a site right now in Barrier and Colchester, and you're wondering, what is the church? The church is to the world what God always intended Israel to be, meaning a holy nation, a royal priesthood, a people that are set apart for the plans of God. Well, track with me again. I'm going to be theological for a moment. If you know Genesis and creation, all the way from Genesis of creation to the garden city of new creation, that is the now and the not yet, if you will, to where we live in this kingdom story to bring about a work of restoration in this world. The kingdom life is not one of escapism. You're not saved so you're safe. You're saved for a purpose. You're not just saved from something, you're saved for something. So while we live in this now and the not yet, the proclamation, the inauguration, the yet to be full consummation, we don't just check the box. We don't just go to church to go through the motion of church. We are, as it says there, point number 1, a chosen race. We're a chosen race. We are chosen by God, a chosen race. That speaks about this beautiful thing where all ethnicities and races come together to where there is this beautiful tapestry where we see color and we celebrate the diversity of the kingdom of God. He says, you're a chosen race. I'm doing something new and different. Jesus is the cornerstone, but you are the people of God. He then says, he goes, you're a royal priesthood. That doesn't mean that you've got Windsor roots. It doesn't mean that you've got Windsor blood. Doesn't mean that you're looking like the Duchess of Wales. Doesn't mean that. What it means is this. He says, you are set apart. He says, we're a royal priesthood. In the Old Testament, only one tribe could demonstrate and represent God, the Levite tribe. But now, all people, men and women, young and old, we're a royal priesthood, a holy nation. And he says, so be holy. Live in a holy way. Live in a way that is set apart. He says, with this, and we're going to build up to this last big point, so that you may proclaim, verse 9, 2 Peter, the first book of Peter, the second chapter, verse 9, so that you may proclaim the excellencies of him who called you out of darkness into his marvelous light. I want to leave you with this big question this weekend, that's simply this. Is your view of church too small? Is your view of church too small? Yes, the church is messy. Yes, the church is never perfect. Yes, some people are strange and you're like, do we share the same Father? Because I'm not sure we do. You're weird. The church has peculiarities, but at the same time, is there a plan B? No. There is no plan B. God's plan has always been that the church is nothing less than the new Israel, restored to the kingdom, restored into relationship through Jesus as the cornerstone, and we now the living stones to represent his ways to a hurting, watching world. So from the creation of Genesis to the new creation of Revelation, live with full engagement. Live with full passion. The church has never been incidental to God's plans and purposes. The church is central to God's plans and purposes. And that is the reason that Peter writes this passage. It's not because he needed to fill out his letter. It's not because he thought he would use some nouns of the old to create a picture of the new. No. There is prophetic fulfillment that Isaiah 43, behold, I'm doing a new thing. His name is Jesus. I'm doing a new thing. The church will be living and alive. The church is not dead. The church is not incidental to God's plans. The church is central. And I want to ask, if we are then silent, who will speak? If we then don't give, who will give? If we then don't go, who will go? We are called to be the people of God, to step into this space, to live between the now and the not yet fully. So pray with faith, live with generosity, be inclusive, and be holy, for God is holy.
If you enjoyed this video today, why don't you click subscribe and click on that notification bell to get a notification the next time we upload a video. And if you're new or you've been coming to the C3 Church for a little while now, why don't you find out what your next step might be in the journey of faith? Click on the next step link in the description below to find out what your next step in your journey might be.